Hi, everybody. Welcome to Spill the Tea with Bougie Miles. I'm Bethany from Bougie Miles. Okay, so this is my friend Toni Southam from Award Travel 101. So obviously it's a little early. Usually we try to get drunk, but Toni has like 15 kids, 19 pets, crazy freaking schedule. Honestly, she sent me a text describing like what her week was so that we could try to figure out like when we were going to record. And I couldn't even read through it for like a week because it stressed me out. So I don't know how you do everything that you do, but anyway, this is a lot of words to say. I did still bring a cocktail, and these are cucumbers from my garden.
Oh, nice.
Yes. And then there's also fresh cucumber juice, and that is fresh mint from my garden. Now, when I say garden, I mean like I threw a bunch of like seeds in a spot and a whole bunch grew, and it was awesome. So basically, I just put things in there that were cocktails. So cheers.
Awesome. I have my caffeine as always. Like, I think that's like the number one thing I'm known for in this industry is like my caffeine problem. I drink so much caffeine, and that's why I'm always like fidgeting and like hyper and stuff. So
I share that with you. How many cups of coffee or energy drinks do you drink a day?
So I usually wake up and I have like a rock star, and I think they have 300 milligrams of caffeine in it.
So that's right? Coffee, yeah.
Yeah. So I wake up with that, and then like I'll wait a couple of hours, and then I'll have like a pre-workout, which usually has like 200 grams, and then I have my like post-workout Coke Zero, and then I kind of try and like trickle out during the day, so I keep it to like 5 or 6 Coke Zeros for the rest of the day. So.
Oh my God! So you're gonna die very early of some kind of chemical.
Yeah, I know, right? So yeah, I love it. So
wow. So you might actually drink more caffeine than me. All right, okay. So we are not going to talk about our caffeine habits the entire time. I promise. I think we'll probably talk a little bit about why you're probably here. Although with the 95% male audience, they're probably here just to look at us. So you can, you don't have to worry too much about what you say. So why don't you tell us a little bit about how you got involved in award travel and a little bit about the community and some of my absolute favorite people. Yeah, so it's an amazing group, but anyway. Okay.
Oh, go ahead. Like obviously like everyone says this about their group, but like I feel like we have like the jackpot like team. Like we work so well together. Mm-hmm. We get along so well. Like it's great. I love them. We had this like actually last night we were like having this like sentimental moment. Everyone's like, I'm not crying. You're crying. And we're all like, oh, I love you so much. I'm so grateful for you guys.
Aww. Yeah, you guys are all awesome. Like it's funny too, because like I had a relationship with Joseph prior to that. Kim prior to her joining. Jackie, like, we just click from everything. Same with like you. And then John and I totally like hit it off when he was shaming me for using my Amex Business Platinum card at the Chicago seminars. It's because I forgot to bring the rest of my cards, but like whatever.
What happens, totally. I made so many mistakes, like in stupid things, like I could never admit them because I lose like all credibility. So I get it. It's fine.
You know what? That's exactly what he said to me. He said you lost all credibility.
But there's like certain cards I've never had that I'm just like, I'm sorry, like I just haven't gotten around to it. It hasn't made that much sense. And they're like, well, you could this, and I'm like, whatever, like, forgive me.
We'll get over it.
Yeah, like, okay, sounds good. First, I have a little puppy with me. I have to introduce. She's so cute. Okay.
How 9 weeks, right? You said?
Yeah, she's 9 weeks. And I'm going to be holding her the whole time. So my husband was in the military for 12 years. And our oldest was 3. And we had just had a baby. And he was deployed to Afghanistan for a year. So we kind of wanted to, like, rather than when it was time for him to come home, just to, like, throw him back into, like, real life, we decided to plan, like, a little vacation to kind of, like, rekindle the relationship and stuff. So we booked a trip to Europe, and we had like never really traveled before. And so we had no idea what we were doing. And we spent like a fortune, so much money. Like it was mind blowing. We were like, well, we better enjoy this because like we'll never travel again. Like it's just so expensive. And so we loved it, had a great time. Fast forward a few years later, still had like the travel bug. And I was talking to my cousin one day, and she was just kind of telling me about like they're these poor college kids, and she's telling me how they're like going to Spain and Hawaii in first class. And I was like, what? Like, but you're poor. Like, how? And she's like, oh, it's like this thing called like travel hacking. And I was like, oh, cool. You guys are like con artists. Like, great, you know? And she's like, oh, I like that. And then she started telling me about like credit cards. And then I was like even more worried because I was like, credit cards literally Satan, right? Like anyone who has a credit card has no self-control. Anyway, long story short, she told me to talk to her husband, and I chatted with him on the phone for like 3 hours that night, and like never looked back. Like I was in it full speed ahead, and that was almost 8 years ago, and I've just been like, I've been going and going, and some days I'm like, what have I done? I used to like scrapbook and stuff and take my kids on play dates. Now I'm like, sorry kids, mom's got to earn points.
So you do the whole like go to the store, do the money order thing, all that.
I do.
How do you get that into your schedule with four kids, right?
Yeah, I have 4. It's really, really hard actually. And I think I've always been really like honest and open about like my personality and stuff. I tend to be like really obsessed with things. And so I feel like I have put my like almost like my mental health and stuff on the back burner because I get so obsessed with these deals. So I'm learning more to find a balance because there was like a point in my life I would haul like 4 babies basically to the grocery store and like buy money orders or gift cards. You know, I'd be there for an hour and they're just crying. Yeah. And anyway, I don't recommend it though. I look back and like, was it worth it? And I'm like, I don't know if it was. I lost my freaking mind.
Well, you have memories that you can't buy, right? So, and speaking of that, something I wanted to talk to you about was, so the first time so we didn't actually meet, but the first time I ever saw you in person was at Chicago seminars a couple years ago. Yeah. And I think the whole AT 101 team did like a Q&A. And I thought that you were probably the craziest person ever because you were like, because you told the whole room of like what I perceived at the time to be like kind of beginners. Like, if you guys aren't banned from stores, you're not doing it right. I have to hang out with her because I need to know like how this happened.
Oh my gosh. Okay. For real, this is a true story. We've had the cops called on us twice buying like gift cards and things like that. Isn't that crazy?
What, just if you were like buying like a big, like
big and stuff like that. It just, I don't know. So we lived in Colorado for a long time, and it's just like a really different vibe there. Like people in Utah are really, really super friendly. Like so, even if they don't like trust you or something, they're like, "Hi, how are you?" You know, and in the back of their head, they're like, "I'm calling the cops. I hate them." You know, I feel like in Colorado it was more like, "No, you're not doing that," and it was like, "Okay, cool, fine." And like walk out here, and they're like, "Sure, do it." And then you like walk out, and the police are like, "Hi, can I talk to you?" You know, so it's
like, what do they want? So when they called the police on you, and the police come for buying too many gift cards, what is like, what are they questioning you about? Is what I want to know.
So to be completely honest, they only ever call on my husband, not me. So yeah. So one time this was like almost 3 years ago, and he was buying gift cards at Target. And anyways, I don't really know how this went down, but they called me and they were like, "Hi." And I was like, "Wait, why are you calling like me? Like, it's my husband."
Yeah, I think I've got his back.
Right, take him. But they were just like, "Well, what are you doing?" and stuff. And so at the time, I just kind of like opened up because I was really afraid. Like I was like, "Oh, I need to tell them everything." And fortunately, it turned out fine. And they were like, "Oh, yeah, no, cool, that makes sense." End of story. That was that. I probably am like on the list somewhere now, but it's fine.
But there's nothing illegal about it.
And that's what's so frustrating is because like it makes me so mad because there are a lot of like gift card scams and things like that. So it's so hard for these stores to like process that like maybe someone isn't doing something illegal or shady. Like actually I was at Walgreens doing something and I was like buying gift cards and I was at the counter like paying for it. I won't give details of what it is because I don't want to be like the deal killer. But I was paying for it and the lady's like, "You can't do that. That's money laundering." And my son, he's 12, he goes, "Excuse me? That's not money laundering. And you can't just say those kinds of things because that's a very serious accusation." And I was like, "Oh, I love you."
Yeah, you're like a lawyer in your hand. Yeah, as somebody who went to law school and passed the bar, it makes me crazy when people make up laws that they think that they know. Like when somebody says like, oh, that's fraud. I'm like, do you even actually know what that means? Like, do you know the 4 points that are required by the law for fraud? Probably not. So like, yeah, talk on things.
Yeah, I like call them out on their like accusations now. I'm like, that's a pretty serious accusation. So explain to me why that would be money laundering, because like, I mean, I'm really nice about it, and honestly, most of the time, it's not worth the argument. I'm just like, okay, not that okay, bye. But sometimes, I'm like, you can't just like throw those words around. Like that's a really serious accusation. So yeah, kind of
like really dumb. But I've never had that happen because well, first of all, I hate going to stores. So like, like all I really wanted was champagne for this episode, but like there was no way I was driving half a mile. Like I'm not like getting in a car and like driving somewhere. That just doesn't happen because I'm a city girl and now I live on Long Island. So I'm like, if I can't walk there, I'm not going. So go anywhere. Yeah. And I have never purchased a money order.
Nice. It's the word.
I mean, maybe one day I will like need to, but I mean, I only have 2 people that need to travel, and one of them works like I have to go on most of my trips by myself. So like flying myself first class and staying in 5-star hotels for a week is like no big deal, you know, but for families, somebody who has to do it for 6 people, I would imagine like that my, you know, like 5 million point balance would go really quickly.
It's really interesting. I feel like it's been like an interesting, I don't know, not that I'm the only mom, right, that travel hacks. Like obviously like lots of families do it, but I have found that like I don't relate with a lot of other people because like I do need so many points and miles. I do travel a ton with my kids. I actually really enjoy traveling with my kids. A lot of people don't, teach their own. And like, so it's been one of the cool things about like being with Award Travel 101 is like, it's kind of helped me, first of all, like connect with the few people out there that are like kind of in my situation, possible, but also just kind of seeing like how different my situation is. And like, so someone will say like, oh, I'm getting Alaska miles or whatever. Like, that's all great. You can do amazing things with Alaska miles. Do you know how many Alaska miles I need to fly first class somewhere? Like for all my family, like it's
it's 150,000 per ticket on Emirates.
Right. So like
time because I'm like, why not? I have it, but it's total. So that's why I totally understand the difference. You know what I mean? Like for me, the people who go and like do it to like cash it out and stuff, I'm like, imagine how much money you would make if you put that time toward like, I don't know, like making money. But like when you're doing it for like family experiences for 6 people, hell yeah, you gotta like improvise.
Yeah. Like I remember when I first started moderating for Award Travel 101, I had like posted about using my Barclay arrival card for my kids' Spanish school because it coded as travel and it was like super crazy. And it was cool. But the guy was like, that is like the dumbest redemption and worst use of miles I've ever seen. And I'm like, okay, first of all, like the redemption is like the same straight across the board no matter what you do it for. Second of all, I earn more miles and like I know what to even do it. They're like, you don't know me. Like, shut up. It was so annoying. I just wanted to be like, you don't even know me. I was like, okay. But but like, and that's a terrible example because he was totally wrong. Like using it for Spanish is freaking awesome. But like a lot of times, like my redemptions and stuff are so different than what other people are doing. And they're like, why would you do that? I'm like, because that's what makes sense for me. Like, I don't need to do myself. So it's interesting.
I think that's one of the most interesting things in our business is that like the gamut of things is so wide, you know, like people thought it was crazy when I was trying to use my my grocery credit for a bottle of Dom from Stop and Shop because apparently Stop and Shop if you buy it online, Peapod has like all this like amazing champagne. So I was like, oh, awesome. I'm getting a free bottle of Dom. And somebody else was like, I could buy groceries for 2 months with that. I was like,
congratulations.
Okay. But like, I don't eat that much. So I would rather have the champagne, you know?
Yeah, no, exactly. So that's like the one thing I do like hate about this industry is like people are so judgmental, and that's like one area like I feel like I try and take a stand. Like, you know what? If you get that Capital One card because Jennifer, whatever her name, said it was cool, you know what? Like, yes, there's better options, but if it helps you reach your goals, then awesome. You know, more power. I just hate like everyone acts like there's like this like right and wrong way to do it, and like if you do it the wrong way, you're an idiot. And I'm like, but does it really matter though? Like, really? So,
You know, in the same vein, how do you feel about like travel shaming right now?
you know what? So,
your take on that? Also, we should note that for anybody who doesn't do the Facebook groups, that you guys deal with like a ton of shaming and like vitriol from members to other members for like some things that I can't even imagine somebody would even like think twice about as a background. Okay. Because all the award travel mods are my best friends. So.
Yeah, totally. One thing, and then I'll go backtrack to the travel shaming, which is like the lounge access thing. Like, I find like zero value in lounge access. The last thing I want to do is get to the airport early with my kids, you know. And also, like, I find flights with the shortest layovers possible that I don't need to get to the lounge. Just getting to the lounge on a layover with all my kids and our crap is like a workout in its of itself. I'm like, if we have a long layover, I'm like, kids, that's our corner. Make your bed. I have so many pictures of us on the floors. Like, it's my favorite. So
that's awesome. I'm the same way. Not for the same reasons, but I hate lounges because like if I'm hungry, that too. But if I'm hungry, I don't like want what they're putting out. I want to eat what I want. I don't care if I have to pay $15 for it. I'd rather just pay $15 and eat what I want rather than like powdered eggs and like whatever, you know, like buttered fake bagels. No.
No, yeah, I totally get it. That doesn't mean I haven't enjoyed like being in a lounge before. So everyone probably knows this story. They're like, oh yeah, here's Toni with that story again. She just can't help herself. You're right, I can't. So here it is. So it's fine. So when I was 7 with my daughter, I went to Peru and I like backpacked. We did the Inca Trail, like 7 months pregnant. It was crazy. But but on the trip back, let me add a little onto this story. So we had trekked the whole Inca Trail, and then we had flown out to the rainforest, and it was like crazy hot, and like we were just nasty, gross. So we flew back to the airport, and we didn't have any time in Lima or anything. We were going straight home, and we were planning on showering at the lounge there, and the shower was broken. So it was super fun. We were like the nastiest people ever, and we got to Dallas, and I had lounge access, and we were like, I mean, they could probably smell us a mile away, and we just like crawled up in the lounge floor, and we're like, it's fine, and we went to sleep, and and it was great.
Who are these homeless pregnant people in the lounge?
Yeah, it was so funny. So good times. But to backtrack to like the travel shaming thing. So I'm very like, and this is like almost to a fault sometimes too, but I just don't give a crap what other people do, right? And so for me, it goes like both ways. Like, just like mind your own freaking business. You don't know what's best for everyone. You don't. And just do you, because like you can argue right or wrong, morals, whatever, on anything.
You know?
Right.
Like,
exactly.
I think, you know.
I am definitely super ready to like start traveling again though. Going out to the Grand Canyon, I was like, I forgot how much I missed this. It was so amazing.
Well, there's something to be said for like mental health too, I think. Like for me, I know at first I was like owning the pandemic, you know, like I was on my Peloton every day. I was down like 10 pounds. I've never looked so amazing in my life. And that's hard to do, like for me to beat how good I usually look, but I did. And and then like it just started to beat me, you know, like I got into like TV. I've been watching like every reality show on earth, rewatching seasons of Big Brother. Yeah. And like, you know, like sitting on my couch and like my P2 will be like, hey, do you want to go out? I'm like, nah, I have like 3 episodes left. Like, thank God I had 30 pounds at the beginning, you know, because I'm right back to where I started. But yeah.
That's because I really went through the same process. Like in the beginning, I like owned it too. I love powerlifting. Gosh, I wish there was more like, I love powerlifting. I could have a whole podcast just on like why everyone should powerlift. Yeah. But anyway, so powerlifting is my favorite thing ever. But yeah, I was like killing it. Like I hit all my all-time PRs. Like, so I weigh like 125-ish. And I started like really deadlifting and stuff. And I hit 210 on my deadlift. Like it's not competition style, but I was like, yeah. But then all of a sudden I like fell back into like, and now I'm like, I don't even know if I can lift the barbell. So
yeah, I agree. So we have an appointment to get back to CrossFit on Tuesday. Not like I used to do. So P2 was a big CrossFitter, and I did something called Crank. It's basically the same thing, but not like hippy dippy the way CrossFit is. Like nobody's like, tell us your favorite M&M flavor or whatever, or color or whatever. Like mine was just like let's do work and go home, you know. Yeah. So we're doing that, but they don't have that over here. So we're starting that again on Tuesday, and like I know it's gonna be so good for me, but I'm like,
right, you're gonna be so sore. That's all. Just prepare, like so sore.
I know, but I love doing burpees. Like love them. It's the weirdest thing when they're like, all right, 200 burpees and then you can leave. I'm like, yes.
Do it. 250. I love it.
I love it. I'm like, I'm done. But yeah.
I used to be addicted to like workouts, like very high intensity. Like if I wasn't like dripping sweat on the ground, I was like, oh, I didn't even work out today. But then I got into powerlifting. And if I start sweating, I'm like, oh, I haven't taken a long enough break. I better sit down and watch an episode. It's like, I love it.
How many calories do you burn doing that? Like is it something that makes you hungry, but you don't burn many calories? Because that would not work for me.
So I don't know, this is like so off topic. So let me like describe something really fast. My brother's into powerlifting too. He might be going into sports medicine. He's still a little undecided. He's in his residency, but it's like our life, right? So one of the things about powerlifting, so my goal is like strictly strength, right? Mm-hmm. Whereas like CrossFit and stuff, that's more like endurance sort of thing. So as for calories burned, I don't lift to burn calories. I lift to build strength. And then like obviously you like hit hypertrophy, stuff like that. You're gonna build muscle, mm-hmm. things like that, and natural consequence. But as far as like calories burned, I mean, probably not even close to as much as like what you would do with CrossFit, but I'm not, like I said, that's not my primary goal. Right. So yeah, it's definitely, it took me kind of a while to like sorry, do you love my nail that broke off? This one that broke off, by the way.
I didn't notice until you pointed it out, because I don't think I've gotten a manicure since I was like 14.
It's like so jacked up, but yeah. So, what was I saying? No, I just changing my perspective from like constantly trying to like work towards like a calorie goal, or just this like completely arbitrary, like I want to be toned, I want a 6-pack. Like mm-hmm. those are just weird. They're great. They're really not great goals, to be completely honest, because they're so like arbitrary and unspecific. But when you like lift for strength and set this like, today I'm going to deadlift 200 pounds, and then by next month I'm 210, like it really, it's awesome. And that's like the best results I've ever had is from powerlifting. So yeah. Anyways, if anyone wants to know about powerlifting, let me know, because I will talk about it all day.
Well, that's what this is all about. It's all about getting to know your favorite points and miles people, like in a different way. Yeah. You know? So that's right on target. So to actually circle it back, do you find that you also set specific goals for your like miles and points stuff?
No. And I think that's one of yeah, it is interesting, because I thought about that a lot recently on how if I would set more specific goals with mm-hmm. it, I think it would be so like crazy, like, oh, I need to get this point, so I need to do this, I need to get this deal. Like if I would just set these goals and have these trips and like, you know what I mean? I think that mm-hmm. it would be beneficial. So next time we talk, I'm gonna have my goals for
all
this,
right. So that's interesting to me, because like so when it comes to like working out, for example, like what you think is arbitrary, like, you know, I don't count calories or anything like that, because I don't have like the attention to detail. So obviously I went into the wrong business. If I could show you there's like cards all over the floor. There's like labels and credit card offers and garbage. It's a mess. Yeah. So I'm not like detail oriented, like specifically. So for me, it's just like, look good, right? That's all I've ever cared about. I think I'm going to die thinking that. And that's it, right? So for me, it's more about just like getting to that goal. But I've noticed that my points and miles style and like it's so similar to that. It's basically just travel the way I want. Don't really care about the details.
Yeah, don't care about the details.
Yeah. So that's kind of like that's the like pervasive like overview of like my life. So, so you have that dichotomy.
Yeah. Well, I will say though that there are some similarities though, because like I get really obsessed with things, right? So like travel hacking, points and miles, like it's my life, and I go all in and I don't stop. Powerlifting, like it is my life, like more than points and miles. Like I listen to podcasts on like powerlifting and stuff like that. Like, yeah, they're very interesting.
What do they even talk about? What do they even talk about? Like, what?
I'm just gonna like give a little shout out to. There's a group called. Oh my gosh, okay, here I go again. There is so much bad information in this world about just fitness and health in general. Like it's insane. I find that people don't like critically think about these things, and nobody uses like goes and like researches like actual evidence. Like they hear some or some guru who has like a six pack say something and they think, oh, well then it's true. And it's like, but it's not true, right? So I'm really obsessed with like evidence-based like scientists and stuff like that when it comes to like nutrition and lifting. So I one of my very favorites, they're called Barbell Medicine, and like life changing. I totally recommend to everyone to listen to them because they just address it all from such a different perspective, and they debunk like so many things. Like even in the powerlifting world, one thing that you see all the time when people are like, and it reminds me of travel hacking. Like everyone knows the best thing for everyone, right? Like, oh, you should do this. So they'll want to, like form, right? And they're like, oh my gosh, like your form's so bad, you're gonna injure yourself. And barbell medicine's like favorite thing is to like pick that apart and be like, but like how are they gonna injure themselves? And they just kind of talk about how like there's just like form. I'll just say it, and everyone's gonna be like triggered right now. Like form from an injury perspective doesn't matter. Listen to them and you will understand. Right now, before you get angry, you're like, no, but if you lift with your back, you'll break it. I literally have a shirt that says lift with your back, okay? Like, you won't break it, but anyway. So there's just a lot of like know-it-alls and bad information in that world. And so when you like dig deeper, you know, so
it's very similar to what we deal with on a daily basis with the know-it-alls in miles and points.
I was joking around with like our moderators the other day too, because like the whole like Dunning-Kruger effect is like so real in both these industries, right? Like with you know, like travel hacking, you have like that, like what is it, the like confidence with like the ignorance, like so they don't know a lot, but their confidence is all the way up here. It's like the same thing, like powerlifting and travel hackers. They're like, oh, I got the Capital One card, which I know I just said a second ago. It's fine. You can get the Capital One card.
Right.
Point,
it's just
they know. Like, you know, oh, I like listened to one podcast and now I know like exactly how you should eat and how you should live. And then like you have that like depths of despair where you start learning more about travel hacking and you're like, I know nothing. I shouldn't even be like I don't even know how to book things. Like, what is this? Like, whoa. And then you finally like trickle out to this point. You're like, okay, I can do this. We're good. So.
Oh, there's like, aren't there so many interesting learning curves?
Oh, but then you like forget it, and then it's like frustrating too. Because like, I know all this. Like, why can't I remember? Yeah, just don't know, right? Like, so there are times where I'm like, oh my gosh, like I don't know. But then it's like, is that a big deal though? Like, you know, it's not. Learning to just like be okay with that.
Yeah, so that's what I try to teach people. That like more than anything, if you ever come to like one of my sessions or whatever, and you'll notice that they are always everyone's favorite. Probably, you know, they just love me, but what can I say? But no, my message really is just like, it's not to know the specific information because that's a waste of like brain power. That's a waste of space in your brain and that's a waste of time. It's to know how to figure it out and like look for certain patterns. That's why like I love like looking and dissecting like the historical deals that everybody will tell you about. Like, oh, remember in 2003 when this happened? I'm like, no, I was in high school, but I do want to hear about it because I want to know like what to look for in the future so that I can, you know, learn from it. And I think that's what's so important. It's not about this specific deal that you find this Tuesday. It's about the framework that you can use for the rest of your life.
For sure. Oh, I 100% agree. And I love that so much. You're probably like, I feel like this is a good analogy, except it's not really an analogy, but like Jeopardy. When you play the game Jeopardy, it's not about like you knowing everything. It's about you like taking these hints and pieces of information and like deducting the answers from that. And I feel like the same approach. You're probably really good at Jeopardy, but that same approach to like, you don't have to know maybe, everything. Gosh, and I think that's like something that we if you want to know everything, cool. Like if you have the time and stuff, like more power to you. I respect that mad. But I also think like we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to know everything, and then you almost kind of like you're dumb or you're a failure. Like that's not true. It's okay to not like maximize every single point out there. It's okay to not be like, oh, I redeemed it for blah 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 CPP and ABCDEFG. Like it drives me.
Don't you love sometimes when somebody posts something and it's always like the super know-it-all? They'll post something with so many like acronyms that like I have to start looking up. I'm like, if I have to start looking stuff up,
then you know it's like
like you are just a blowhard and that's it.
I do love like in the newbie groups that, you know, where Travel 101 is 101. And like sometimes people will come up with like these you know, new people and like bless their hearts, but they'll come up with these like acronyms and I'm like PPPRS. I'm like for business quarterly, and I'm like that's not a thing. But okay, good try.
It's just too much. The other thing that threw me off when I first started, like I stopped Reddit. I don't do it anymore because I mean, listen, I'm like very big on, maybe I'm a little judgmental about like fire people because the one thing I don't understand is like, why don't you just want to work a little bit more so that you don't have to work so hard to save money?
Work smarter, not harder kind of thing.
Yeah, like they work so hard to save like $1, right?
Yeah.
But like, what is your value to yourself that like your hourly rate is like valued at saving $1? I don't understand that. I'm big on hourly rate. Like I'll constantly say to my significant other, I'm like, I hate that he fills up the Keurig all the way because I'm like, dude, your hourly rate is like 10 times what mine is. I'll fill up the Keurig. You don't have the time for this. Like, it's all about maximizing time. He's like, you're a freaking psycho.
Yeah, and I think that like goes back to like, you know, just kind of what I've said though, like is I get caught up in those like saving $1, saving a penny. And then I look back, that wasn't worth my time. Like I could have actually like, you know, done this or done that, or just one thing is like investing in my kids. I had this friend I used to go hiking with when I lived in Colorado all the time. And that was like always her big thing. Like if you invest in your kids, they will usually return that investment, right? And like her kids had all these like, they had like a yacht and like fancy boats and all these things, and they brought her on vacations everywhere. And it just like really inspired me because I was like, okay, like I need to invest in my kids. Like forget saving another $1. Like I need to invest in them so they can be in a fancy retirement home. Like
yeah, you can like max out there. I'm sure you can figure out a travel maximizing way to like you know, fully max out like their 529s and like, you know, all these like travel portal nonsense crap. Like I'm sure there's got to be a way that you can marry the two so that they can go to Harvard, right?
Because yeah, like they go hand in hand, right? And I know like there's like that gift to college gift card play that went on a while back, and there's definitely ways to do it. But
so I want to play Plead the Fifth, and then I will let you get back to your family. So
bring it on.
Toni, are you ready to play Plead the Fifth?
Woo, yeah.
Okay, so here are the rules. I'm going to ask you 3 questions. Okay. The first one is usually a softball. The second one is the one that people usually plead the fifth on, and that's all I'm going to tell you. But I do try to give people a little bit of a heads up because I have always promised that I won't put anything in the episode that you don't want. So keep those in mind when you're answering the question.
I'm like super good at deflecting and stuff. So
okay. So first question. Who in the miles points credit card world either is like, who's just the best? Who's like your number one? Who is your inspiration? Just tell me number one. Some people have had 2, so that's okay.
Well, you, of course, but
you're also the first person who's ever said that, even just to pretend. So thank you.
I tell you though, because like woman power, right? Like I'm super, there's so many great males in this industry, but I like love seeing like powerful women who like really know this industry and stuff. It's very inspiring to me.
It is. So, yeah. And we all have a kind of a special bond.
Hey, I'm not brown nosing, but for real, like I think you're incredible and I think you're amazing and I love it. Like I love strong women. So you win.
Thank you. Okay. So who's your other person?
That's tough. like, I feel like the people that I've learned the most from are actually not people like really big in this industry, to be honest. Like, I'm big in it, but they're not like famous. I have a really great network of like some friends and stuff that have, taught me so much. Oh, do you know who another woman who I love, love, love. I've learned a ton from her. Caroline Lapini. Love her. Learned a ton from her. She's the best. So I learned like so much from her. Love her dearly. So yeah, you too win.
And she's kind of a big deal now, so that's awesome.
Yeah, she's amazing. Oh,
yeah. I can't believe that the first time I ever met her was this year in the Bahamas. We went with people, because we all put those mistake rates. And that was the first time I ever met her. And I was like, how have we not like hung out before? Like, oh, she's so cool. So cool. And also super knowledgeable. And okay, so number 2, and as I said, this is the one people tend to plead the fifth on. Who is the worst? So basically the opposite. Who do you think is just like the worst Miles Points blogger? Some people have not pled the fifth on this because they really don't like some people and want to just like throw them under the bus. So go for it.
Okay. I don't have an issue with anyone. Like, I really like, that's also kind of a fault of mine because I tend to be like very trusting and like everyone a lot. I do think that in general, I don't like when people like kind of, I don't know, there's a few groups out there that I feel like sometimes they kind of leave out some important information to like advance themselves and stuff. And like that bothers me a little bit, but also, it is what it is. But like I can't think of one person. Yeah, I mean, I can't think, like there's people in the group that I can't stand that are like big fat jerks sometimes, and I like kick them out, but they don't matter. So,
right.
I mean, yeah, I just like, I know I'm totally like deflecting and skirting around it. So I guess I plead the fifth, but I just really, there's no dislike.
It's a hard question to answer, really. I mean, if you don't like have, like I'm a love-hate person. So like, I could give you a list of 20 people I can't stand right now. But
like the points that election stuff like that, I've never had an issue with the dude. Like sometimes I do wish he'd be more transparent about a few things, but like he has some good information out there. He does a good job. A lot of the hate comes from people just kind of being jealous. I don't have an issue with him at all. So I don't know. Maybe I should be more hateful, but I just don't care. So.
Oh yeah. Like they're not on my list. Like I think they're even in a different business at this point. I do love to poke fun at one of their writers' credit card reviews.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I can't imagine. Like I think they did the Finger Hut credit card not that long ago, and I was like, I mean, come on, guys, like. Yeah. Oh, yeah. They reviewed the Finger Hut credit card, and the week after they reviewed the like Wine Insiders credit card. It's like an annual fee card where you get membership to buy certain like wine from a club.
Oh my god, I love it. And I don't know.
Yeah. And I was like, now these are good. So my idea was that I was gonna do like a weekly post of the worst like point. And then I was like, you know what? That's bad karma. Like I don't need to put that out into the world. But
I love it.
Yeah. And then okay, so third, you can't plead the fifth on this one because this is the one I think everyone is gonna love from Award Travel.
Okay.
Like all of your group members. So it's Shag, marry, kill. And since you have 4 moderators, we're gonna do Shag, marry, kill, and best friends forever. Okay. And obviously you know who the moderators are. They're Joe, John, Kim, and Jackie. Go.
Okay. Sorry, my daughter's calling.
That's so random. We're going way over. Sorry.
No, sorry, you're good. Sorry. Well, it's okay. Tell me I'll call her right back, okay? Okay, I can't answer it just yet, though. Can you say hi?
Hi. Oh, she's so pretty. Tell her we'll be done in like 3 minutes.
3 minutes, okay? Go get your shoes on. So we gotta go after this. Okay, so back to the thing. So it's Shag. Okay, sorry. What is it?
So you have to decide who you want to have sex with, who you want to marry, who you want to kill, and who you want to be best friends with forever.
Okay, first one, I want to be a monk. Monk. I would rather go to a convent. How about that? Nothing against mothers. I love them all. But
So is this your plead the fifth? Because that is the worst answer ever.
Yeah, plead the fifth. Yeah, Shag. The next one.
Marry.
I would marry Jackie. Oh my gosh, like Jackie would make such a good like wife.
I thought you would say Shag Jackie, to be honest.
Oh yeah, I'm telling you, like me and Jackie could have a very good like platonic relationship. She's like
it's not like a literal thing.
Jackie,
yeah, Jackie's
yeah.
awesome.
I knew Jackie was the one for me when like she was talking about like how her and her spouse, they have this like juice, like sugar-free juice that they like fill up every day. And I don't know, it was like this kind of funny joke and stuff. But I was like, girl, like I have my sugar-free Jolly Rancher juice mix here. And I was like, it's like not a lot of people appreciate that stuff. So that's when I knew Jackie was the one for me. So
I totally get that. I'm also a sugar-free person, so I understand.
you could be our third wife. I live in Utah, so let's go.
Coke Zero is like my jam, but I only drink it on cheat days.
I drink it all the time.
Yeah. I used to, and then I like got into like toxic whatever and went crazy, and now I'm a crazy person. Okay, so if you plead the fifth, you don't have to kill anyone. You can pick who you want to be your best friend forever.
Okay.
And we can let the other two imagine who they would be.
Sorry, what was that?
And then we could just let the other two imagine where they would end up.
Yeah. Okay, no, I can answer this. So, best friend, totally Kim. Oh my gosh, Kim's like already my BFF. Like we chit chat all the time. Freaking love that woman. And I was like, always, oh my gosh, like she makes me feel so good about myself. Like she always brings me up and like always I'll be like, oh, that post was lame. And she's like, no, like this and that. And I was like, oh, you're right. It was pretty good.
Kim is an amazing person. Yeah. Kim Schelling, for everybody who doesn't know who we're talking about, which you should. Okay.
Amazing. Amazing. And then I would rather kill John, but like in the nicest way, because I feel like we have like almost a brother-sister relationship. Like we've been there for so long, really well. But I can see it like being like, like throw down, you know. Not to say I would kill John. I'm just saying, like, if I had to pick someone, I think he would agree. Like, we're the most likely to probably kill each other. And that, but then I feel bad because like I'm leaving Joe out. Joe's just like a great guy.
I don't think you left Joe out because I think de facto everyone's gonna know the one you didn't answer is Shag. So
no. Just oh, I love it.
You successfully did it. You pled the you didn't. You actually didn't really plead the fifth, just on that one. But I don't think that was a plead the fifth. So I think you're good. Okay, so you have to get back to your life. I'm sure your daughter has like gymnastics or dance or piano or clod hopping. I don't know. Whatever they do, whatever the kids do now.
Just so you know, I competitively clogged for a few years, so there's that.
Wait, is that a real thing? I pulled that literally out of like the recesses of my brain. I can't even imagine. Wait, we're gonna have to talk more, but obviously you have to go. But you know what? I would like to do a happy hour with maybe like me, you, Erin, Jackie.
I would love that. Do you know what else we need to do?
What?
We do a video where we go get like Botox and lips injections done together, and like everyone can watch us suffer and cry, and we could do it together, and it'd be so fun.
Can we? Because I haven't done either, and I need to.
Let's do it. Let's plan on it.
Because I've never done it before, but my lips need it so bad, and yours are incredible. Holy shit.
They're starting to shrink just a little though. I'm ready for more, but oh my gosh, like I
heard it gets addicting. Is it addicting?
It's so addicting. It hurts so freaking bad though. Like it was so intense. I was like I squeezed my butt cheeks so hard from the pain the next day, like we're sore. And remember, like I squat and deadlift, right? So that's like tells you like, how hard I was squeezing those suckers.
You also had children, yeah. So like I can imagine that you understand the pain of life. Yeah.
That's what we're gonna do next meetup. We're gonna be like, sorry guys, we gotta go get some Botox done.
Well, I might even come to you because in New York, just to get your lips done is like $800.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah. And like guess what? I'm obsessed with deals and I can totally get you a deal on it. So
exactly, yeah. So I might just like come to you and be like, okay, babe, I'm just gonna come back like, you know, a different person.
Let's do it.
I love it.
Thing is, and then we have to do a video the next day because like when I got mine done, I swelled up like insane. It was for the whole day. It was so funny. Like
but admit you kind of loved it, didn't you? You loved like how like boom they were.
Not quite this much. It was like so I called my mom and brother on FaceTime. We were like literally crying and laughing so hard. And I was like, don't make me laugh, it hurts. Like, it was it was amazing. So yeah.
I was so impressed by you that you posted a picture of it because I like asked you a question and you posted it, and I was like, she has so many balls.
Yeah, I'm not shy.
That was amazing.
Okay, we'll do it together.
Yeah.
And we'll like have a happy hour, our duck lips. I'm like, so it went really well. Thanks again. Great.
Thank you. I love you. I'm so happy we did this. All right. Mwah. Bye.
Bye.